What up, though? And welcome back to I'm Growing Man. It's your man John D in the building. So I have decided to try to give some tidbits that I believe if young men run across, my channel, I can give them some tidbits that can improve their station in life by just working on these things. Key things. Something simple, you may have heard them before. Some things you don't know how serious they may be, but I'm going to give you my feedback on why these things, if you follow, it'll continue to increase the quality of your life. Rule number one. Now, I don't want to say rule number one or anything, but these just no particular order. These are just things that just came to me, and I was like, I'm going to share these things because I think these are things that anybody could add to their life to benefit from. But one thing, men, young boys, you shouldn't be hitting girls. You shouldn't be hitting ladies. You shouldn't be hitting the female, period. And you shouldn't hit anybody, first of all. But I think we need to learn how to give certain information. I believe that boys should always have to protect themselves, and I think after a certain age, and I don't want to put an age on it, but we just want to get into practices of not doing it. But young boys become really strong and they can really hurt a girl. And my fear is domestic abuse at a later age, because you hear these messages where, if a girl is going to act like a guy, she can hit like a guy, she need to be beat up like a guy, whatnot. I just don't think it's fair. I think we need to learn self-control so that we don't put ourselves in positions where ladies are going to act like that anyway. So again, we have to watch the company we keep, or we're going to get bad messages. And I don't think any young man envisions that they're going to just become a woman beater when they get older. But something happens, and I feel like I'll share this story with you. So I never seen my father hit my mother. I seen my mother hit my father before, and I seen him she hit him in his mouth, and I was like, ouch. And then I woke up in the middle of the night and I saw this, right? And I just seen my father push my mother, like pushed her away. And that was the domestic abuse that I saw, that I recall, other than yelling, a lot of yelling. So I'm blessed that my father did not hit my mother in front of me. And the reason why I'm saying this is because my mother did say that he used to hit her. By him not showing that to me, it did something. I believe that you shouldn't hit girls. I hear young men, being in middle school, some boys think they can hit girls. If a girl hits him like that, he's willing to knock her out. And I'm like, we shouldn't think like that. And we have parents that support that. And I think we need to have a better message for these young men so that they can have better outcomes in their later life. We can't give them bad habits and think that they're supposed to turn it off. We have to give them better habits. If a girl, like you shouldn't be fighting. You shouldn't even be in a situation where a girl is actually hitting you anyway. What are you doing where a girl can hit you? Men have to make better decisions. Boys have to we have to think. So being in middle school, there is a space missing in processing for a lot of these young kids. They know this is bad, but they don't think about the consequence. So this is just what happens. It's the processing part is they go through it and then they're over here why didn't I think? There's no pause and respond. I'm seeing when I'm talking to kids, I say, now, why did you do it that way? And they'll tell me why they did it. And I was like, well, couldn't you have done it this way? And then maybe this wouldn't have happened. And you can just see oh my God, I could have done it that way. So I think we have to do a better job at delivering a message so young men know that it is not okay to put your hands on a lady. And there are going to be people that argue with that, but I'm just saying, if you don't put your hands on a lady, don't put yourself in an environment where a lady can put your hands on you, your life would be way more peaceful. Because I'm telling you, if you are putting your hands on a lady and you think it's okay, your life is going to be filled with destruction, because nobody likes a man who puts their hands on a lady. Nobody. So if you are doing that, you need to get some help, brother. And there's help in many places. And I'm just suggesting that if there are women that are in these situations, I'm going to pray that you can find some type of peace where you can get away and be safe, or this person gets enough help where you guys can grow from that point on. But that's got to be a tough place to be. So young men, do not put your hands on these ladies. You will not have a successful life if you put your hands on. How about this? You ask, do a survey of all the men you know, and just keep the survey and ask them, you think you're going to have a successful life if you put your hands on a woman? And if you have some men that say yes, you really need to watch who you hang around, because you don't want to be around people that's doing that. Because if men that can hit ladies and they can say it out loud, they doing other things also. So be careful. Young people, I believe in saying yes, sir, yes, ma'am, no, sir, no, ma'am, thank you, you're welcome, having manners. And the reason why I said I think you should do this, because when you respond that way, that person feels like it's a level of respect. Like some people will say, I'm not that old or whatnot, but I say this to my students. I say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, to them. If they ask me something, like, I want people to know that I come in peace. And I feel like if you show like you have manners, the person that you're speaking to will reduce a boundary, because they'll feel like they're seen. Because some people don't have that respect level of just saying it. They have to be told to say it, and it's okay. But if you get into a practice of it, you disarm the person, your company, your audience, the whoever you're talking to, you disarm them to a degree. And I'm not saying this to take advantage of anybody, but it shows that you have manners. And what person doesn't want? Because I'm telling you, there are people that will curse and not apologize and say things that are inappropriate no matter what situation. And these practices will limit your opportunities if you believe that this is okay. Unless you're rich. And I'm talking to most of the people I'm talking to are like me, like trying to find a way to live a better life financially. So you have to just respect people. And I believe having manners puts you in different rooms. And you don't even have to be the smartest person, but if a person feels like you have manners and you respect them, people look at you differently. If you don't believe me, as any adult, this is going to be a tough one for a lot of you guys. Not use your money to be seen. Do not use your money to be seen. If you using your money that you made to put on, to drive in, for others to recognize you got it, that's an expensive life to live. It's not worth it. Buy things that you like, and if nobody likes it, it's okay. Those of you that live outside of your means to be seen, it gets tough as later as I move through life. I recognize that. Like, I remember I used to wear really expensive brands when I was a beginning teacher. There's no way in the world should I have been wearing any of that stuff. And I didn't buy my stuff like bootleg or anything. I bought my stuff at the store, and that was crazy. In my mind, who was I fooling? Like, but you don't know. So this is the information I'm telling you. You can say you like it, but there's going to come a time in life, if you don't put that work in the beginning, all of that is gone. It's going to be expensive to live that way. And if you're not making that money, it's going to get real tight. And I don't want you to go through that. So be careful of what you like. Because if you like the wrong things and you can't afford it, but you acting like you can afford it, bills look different later. So be careful. You don't spend your money to be seen. Doing that, If you can get rid of that, I promise you'll be in a different place of people who truly know how to make money, because a lot of us are using our money to be seen. Now, if you got it, you got it, but a lot of us don't. And I don't want those of you that don't, those of you that don't got it, you're tricking these other people thinking they can live like that too. They can't unless you find a blessing. Yes, which leads me to this. Don't chase money. Like, I got all kind of friends trying to chase a certain amount of money, and it's so exhausting. Like, this is what I'm going to give you guys. If you master something, when I say mastery, it's going to take years, at least 10, 15 years of everyday dedication. But maybe after year 3 or 4, like, you'll find ways to make your routine, because you're going to know it's going to get you to this goal. The younger you start, the better you are. You create this routine where you work on it every single day. That mastery will put you in a place where money won't matter. And I'm going to show you why money won't matter. Because you will always be needed, and you'll be able to turn things down because you only want to do something so often. I'm going to give you an example. My goal is to become a master in communication. I work on it every single day. I think at some point I will have mastered the art of communication where whoever I'm going to speak to will be completely disarmed, because they know I only come in peace. And I truly believe if we can work on a mastery of something, money will no longer be important. And money's only important to those who need it, right? So I feel like if you have let's say if you were blessed and you had some great parents that wanted to invest in their kids and they didn't worry about money and they just put into this kid, like, you would, I don't know what kind of fun you would have because you'd be so mature in so many different areas. But imagine a world of parents that had kids to raise them the way we would all want to raise our kids. You know, we have these different things in our childhood that causes trauma. And I'm seeing like you have to go through these different things to understand who you are. And I'm probably going over some of you guys' head, but I want you to catch this. If you work on your craft every day, you will, and when I say your craft, it's just anything that you want to do that can make you a better person. Like, I believe communication, for me, communication is something that everybody should work on. Because if you can effectively communicate with the person in front of you, nobody's going to have an argument that could spill over into something violent. And some of us have that skill set, but some of us don't. And I just feel like, hypothetically speaking, I'm in a situation, somebody bumps into me. Now, how do I respond if he does it? And I recognize he did it intentionally. Like, if I come in peace, I'm like, my bad, you know what I'm saying? Excuse me, I just take it on the chin. But if I need to be tough, it's one of two things. He backs down because I stood my ground, or he was like, oh, let's do it. Do I really want to fight? So if I'm an effective communicator, I can de-escalate this brother. If you worked on communication, you could de-escalate anything because it's not worth it. I think I was telling my students the other day, I was like, I hate that when my students know how to fight, it's bad for them because they're not going to be afraid of anything. And it's okay to be scared because sometimes being scared will keep you safe. I told them that when you're not afraid to fight, you find yourself in business that wasn't even yours, and bad things can happen to you. And I don't want that to happen. So I'm like, I feel bad for some of my students because they're not afraid of anything. And that is, you don't ever want your kids to have that, because there are things they're supposed to be afraid of. And sometimes you end up dying over things that shouldn't have happened because you wasn't afraid. So keep that in mind. Mastery. I'm not talking about master the art of fighting either. I'm talking about whatever you like to do, work on it. You know, some of these students, I wish I am going to push my students in a direction to start working on their routine. Now, the earlier you are working on your routine, the sooner you'll get to the quality of life I'm describing. Now, I can't say that I've totally entered that because I still need to get paid, right? But I enjoy the journey of mastery, working on communication every single day and then practicing it, giving it to my students, my colleagues. To me, at some point, I'll accumulate these hours where I will not have to worry about money because I'm intentionally trying to become better where I can, like, I'll give you this. This is for any educator, any teacher, any parent. Like, if you want a kid to receive a message, they truly have to understand, because if they understand, they won't forget it again. Whoever your audience is, the only way they receive it is if they know how to teach somebody else. So you can't say that that's anything also. So I'm not even saying I can teach you this, but I do know that there are certain things you can do to become better in your craft. And this applies to any and everything that you do. Like if you're working on something, like let's say if you work on yourself, let's say you decide to take life a little more seriously and you say, I'm going to create a routine and work on myself every single day. I'm going to see what this dude talking about. Who benefits from you working on yourself? Right? You do. That's the whole point. Like, it has to be intentional. Like, just people like life and, oh my gosh. My wife and I was talking about yesterday, like life and it can happen and you don't even know what's happening. That's why you have to do it on purpose. And when I say life and, I mean, life will pass you by and you be like, dang. And you didn't do anything. And you be like, what am I doing? Like, you have to be intentional. Write these things down. Again, I'm going to master the art of communication to the point where I won't have to worry about money ever again. Look, this was the point of me starting this podcast because I wanted to be an example of a person who showed growth from the very beginning to whenever it was going to happen. That's why I decided to document how long it took of intentional work, because I've put out content every day, every day for the last 4+ years. I know that almost, I don't know, 4 years, like every single day I upload something. And like now all of a sudden it's so crazy. These people are contacting me saying, you know, we see that you have all these videos, but we can help spread your content. I was like, it's because I'm not good enough yet. When I'm good enough, they'll find me. And it was like, but I think maybe some people could get more access if you did. I said, I can't afford that type of consultation, because that's the reason why I said I want to document my walk until it happens. And when it happens, whoever decides to take on the challenge, people are going to see like, oh, it took him this long. Like, what did he do? But whatever I'm doing, you can do for your own life. And, you know, it's more than a book. You know, people's like, man, you should write a book. I'm like, I'm not really that type of guy. You know, I feel like these videos are a reflection of the way that I live my life. And I've benefited from it a lot, because if you knew my background, like, you would be like, well, how did he do that? Like, on purpose, like for real, because I'm telling you, life almost got dark for the kid. And I'm not gonna say almost died or anything, but I wouldn't be in this position if I did not challenge myself to become a better person on a daily basis, where I created a routine. Last but not least, find more information. Like, if you are not trying to find more information to get better, like, you are probably complaining about life. And I don't want to see people complain. And I know sometimes people just want to vent. You can do that. But at the end of the day, if you worked on yourself every single day, you would get distracted by that. Because I'm telling you, once you see the benefits of how you improve, you'll be looking for all kind of time to grab. You like start going to sleep on time. You wake up on time because you have. Now, I don't know how long it's going to take for you to do that, but it is a fun journey trying to improve yourself every single day. Because when you do it for real, everything that you touch recognizes some type of change. They recognize like, oh man, you always feel like this. Why? Because, I know that I am intentionally working on myself. And when I can see certain people say things, it I don't want to say it gives me more fuel, but it reminds me, it's giving me what I thought I was supposed to be receiving. At first, it was like a surprise. Like I was like, wow, where did that come from? When somebody says something about me that I wasn't working on, like they'll give me a compliment on something, and I'm like, oh man, that was awfully nice of you. Thank you. Because people don't have to say anything to you, but people volunteer information to me, and it makes me feel so humble. Now I'm not gonna say I expect it, but I know that I'm working on myself where it still humbles me. But I know that it's coming because like people they just say things to me that they didn't say things to me before. I'm telling you. Like people say the nicest things to me, and like I just be me. And but the thing is, by being me is me improving my walk in life. And if I can improve every day, when somebody sees me improving every day, maybe they'll like, I want to do that too. Because I'm telling you, people don't do that regularly. But if you regularly worked on yourself and you found out how important you are, and this is for any and everybody, your life changes. You have to put the work in though. Like get into a habit of working on yourself and watch what doors open up. Y'all make today better than yesterday. Don't worry about anything you can't control. GATA. Get after that action, or that action will get after you. Be great on purpose. Boom.